Welcome back to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we recalibrate your biology and rediscover your direction. I'm your host, Brandon Soika, and today's episode is going to shift the way you think about breakfast, maybe for good. We're talking about what to eat first in the morning to stop the crash cycle, that roller coaster of fatigue, cravings, and mental fog that seems to hijack your day before it even starts. But here's the truth. The answer isn't just what you eat, it's when and how you do it. Before we dive in, let me ask you a question. Are you actually eating the right signals for your biology right now? Or are you unknowingly sending your system into chaos? Because that's what the Drift quiz is designed to uncover. It's not a generic health quiz. It's a biological compass built to help you identify where your metabolism is most out of sync. Is it nurture, energize, strengthen, or withdraw? The results show you where to focus first and how to course correct without guessing. You'll even get a free 2-week reset protocol at the end of the email series customized to your drift. So if you haven't taken the quiz yet, I want you to press pause at the end of this episode and go to the metabolic-compass.com/quiz. That one step can reframe everything you've been doing. Now, back to today's episode. If you're someone who skips breakfast, starts the day with caffeine, or grabs something quick like toast or fruit, you're not broken, but your biology might be crashing by design. We're going to break down why skipping or mistiming your first meal creates an invisible energy debt, what the research says about starting your day with 30 grams of protein plus fiber, how this one change stabilizes mood, blood sugar, and appetite for the rest of the day, and why eating before caffeine might be the key to reducing anxiety and brain fog. I'll also walk you through easy breakfast templates you can actually use, whether you like to cook, drink a shake, or just want to get out the door faster. And yes, we'll talk about where BIOMEnd fits in if you're rebuilding gut-liver signals as part of your morning routine. Let's talk about the crash. You know the one I'm talking about. It's not a full-on collapse. It's more like an unraveling. Maybe it starts with that mid-morning fog. You were fine at 7 a.m., maybe even productive. But by 10:30, your focus is gone. You're looking for a snack. You feel a little edgy, a little tired, but also restless. You tell yourself it's just a busy day. You pour another cup of coffee, you push through. Then comes the early afternoon dip. You're staring at your screen, your brain is moving slower, your patience is shorter. And all you want is something sweet or salty or both. Sound familiar? This is what I call the crash cycle, and it usually starts long before you feel it. Here's how it works. Your body wakes up every morning with a plan. That plan includes a natural rise in cortisol, your alert hormone. This isn't a stress spike. It's supposed to help you get moving, burn fuel, and think clearly. But cortisol doesn't work alone. It needs a supporting cast. It needs fuel. It needs rhythm. It needs a biological yes to keep things stable. When you skip breakfast or eat the wrong kind of breakfast, you send the opposite signal. Instead of grounding that cortisol surge, you amplify it. Your body says, okay, I guess we're on our own. So it pulls sugar from storage. It raises blood glucose. It increases adrenaline to keep you sharp. And that works for a little while. But here's the problem. There's no stability in that system. It's a short-term fix. What comes next is the inevitable crash. Blood sugar dips, mental clarity disappears, and your cravings go through the roof. It's not about willpower, it's about biochemistry. And for a lot of people, this crash cycle repeats itself 2, 3, even 4 times a day. You eat to fix the crash. But the thing you eat causes the next one. You caffeinate to stay alert. But now your sleep is disrupted and the cycle gets worse tomorrow. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think, why can't I control my cravings? Or why am I so tired all the time? Or maybe I just need more discipline. But it's not about discipline. It's about feedback loops. The crash cycle is your body trying to get back to balance. It's reaching for anything that can give it what it didn't get at the start of the day. Let me give you an example. If you start your day with a bowl of cereal and fruit, or even a smoothie made mostly from fruit and almond milk, you get a big glucose spike. Your energy goes up, then drops really fast. And the body says, that wasn't enough. Now you're craving something carb heavy or dopamine heavy like chips, sugar, or caffeine. On the other hand, if you skip breakfast entirely and just drink coffee, your cortisol stays high, your blood sugar wobbles, your cravings show up later in the day like a tidal wave. Both of these approaches create the same pattern. high highs followed by low lows. So, how do you stop this cycle? It starts by sending a better first signal, and that means prioritizing protein, because protein grounds the system. It gives you amino acids that support dopamine and focus. It blunts blood sugar spikes. It supports satiety hormones like GLP-1 and peptide YY. And it turns down ghrelin, the hormone that drives hunger. Think of protein as the anchor that keeps your day from drifting. And when you pair it with fiber like chia, flax, or psyllium husk, you get even more stability. That combo slows digestion, supports the gut-brain axis, and keeps your energy steady. So the next time you feel that crash creeping in, ask yourself this: did I give my body what it needed this morning? Or did I just give it something to quiet the noise? In the next segment, we'll break down exactly what to remove from your breakfast and why some of the healthiest options might be fueling your worst symptoms. We've all heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but what nobody tells you is this: it's not just whether you eat it, it's what you start with that matters most. And the truth is, a lot of the foods marketed as healthy breakfast choices are secretly setting you up to crash. Let's start with a common one: oatmeal. Now, don't get me wrong, oats have fiber. They've been praised for heart health. But when you eat a bowl of oats first thing in the morning, especially instant oats, you're flooding your system with quick burning carbohydrates. And most people add honey or bananas or brown sugar. Some even mix in raisins or dried fruit. Now you've turned what seemed like a healthy breakfast into a full-on glucose spike. Your blood sugar goes up fast, then crashes an hour or two later. That's not fuel, that's a firecracker. What about smoothies? They sound healthy. You've got fruit, almond milk, maybe even some superfood powders. But here's the problem: most smoothies don't contain enough protein. They're mostly carbs and sugar, blended up into a quick delivery system for a blood sugar roller coaster. Even if you add spinaches or berries or chia seeds, if there's no protein anchor, it's still not metabolically stable. Let's talk about fruit next. Fruit isn't bad, but fruit as your first bite of the day, that's a weak signal. Especially tropical fruits like bananas, mangoes, or pineapples. These have higher sugar loads and very little protein or fat to slow absorption. Starting your day with just fruit is like walking into a meeting and whispering "hi" when you need to send a memo in bold all caps. Now, let's address another big one: toast. A slice of whole grain toast with almond butter sounds clean, sounds balanced. But again, where's the protein? Where's the satiety signal? Even if you're using a high-quality gluten-free or sprouted bread, it's still mostly carbohydrates. And almond butter, while healthy in moderation, doesn't offer enough protein to ground your meal. It's mostly fat and can be calorically dense without being nutrient dense. Now, let's bring this home. Why are these foods, oats, fruits, smoothies, toast, so problematic when eaten alone? Because they lack what your body actually needs in the morning: protein, fiber, and a signal of stability. When your breakfast lacks those things, your body starts guessing. It pulls sugar from storage, it activates stress hormones, and later in the day, it demands a fix, usually in the form of a craving. Here's the kicker: the crash that happens after a healthy breakfast doesn't feel like a crash. It feels like anxiety, it feels like hunger, it feels like low motivation or brain fog, or reaching for caffeine by 11 a.m. That's why this pattern is so dangerous. It hides behind wellness labels. You think you're doing everything right. You followed the nutrition advice, but your biology isn't fooled. You gave it the wrong fuel, and now it's asking for more. This is why we need to reframe what breakfast means. It's not a time to eat what sounds light. It's a time to eat what sounds foundational. That doesn't mean you can never have oats or fruits again, but those foods should be supporting characters, not the lead role. They come after the anchor, not before. In the next segment, we're going to talk about exactly what that anchor looks like and how to build a breakfast that works for your biology, not against it. And if you're not hungry in the morning, don't worry. I've got a simple entry point for you too. That's coming up. Once you understand what not to eat for breakfast, the next question is obvious. What should you eat instead? The answer is simple but powerful: protein and fiber. This duo is what I call your anchor combo. Together, protein and fiber send a signal to your body that stabilizes energy, regulates hunger, supports brain function, and keeps you out of the crash cycle that so many people live in day after day. Let's start with protein. When you eat 30 grams of protein in your first meal of the day, your body responds on multiple levels. You reduce ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increase satiety hormones like GLP-1 and peptide YY, and provide your body with the amino acids needed to make dopamine, a key neurotransmitter for drive, motivation, and focus. This isn't just about building muscle, this is about building momentum. Protein tells your body, we have what we need, we're ready to go. But protein alone isn't enough to fully stabilize the metabolic terrain. That's where fiber comes in. Fiber, especially soluble fiber from sources like chia, flax, or psyllium husk, slows down digestion. This means glucose enters the bloodstream more gradually, helping you avoid that spike then crash pattern so many people experience with carb-heavy breakfasts. Fiber also feeds your gut microbiome, supporting gut lining integrity, and contributes to a sense of fullness that lasts for hours. When you combine protein and fiber at the start of the day, something transformative happens. Your biology gets the signal that it's safe, steady, and resourced. You no longer feel driven by cravings, fatigue, or blood sugar swings. You don't need a snack every 90 minutes or down a second cup of coffee just to focus. You're anchored. And this isn't just about appetite or energy, it's about neurochemistry. A high-protein, fiber-rich breakfast supports dopamine regulation, helps normalize cortisol rhythms, and promotes metabolic flexibility. Now, what if you're someone who isn't hungry in the morning? That's not a flaw, it's actually a clue. A blunted appetite early in the day often reflects circadian misalignment. Your digestive system has been trained to expect food later and to skip early fuel altogether, but it can be retrained. If you're not ready for a full meal, start small. A high-quality protein shake is a great first start. Mix in 30 grams of protein powder, add a scoop of fiber like chia, flax, or psyllium, and for added benefit, include BIOMEnd to support gut-brain signaling and gut-liver axis stability. This gives your system the biological yes it needs without overwhelming it. Many people notice improvements in focus, energy, and hunger regulation within just a few days of this practice. It's an easy win and a powerful way to stop the crash cycle before it starts. The best part? You don't have to eat the same thing every day. You just have to stick with the same strategy. Lead with protein and fiber and build your day on stable ground. In the next segment, we'll get even more practical. I'll show you how to build your own compass-calibrated breakfast step by step using real food and realistic routines. Now that you understand why the protein-fiber combo is so essential in the morning, let's talk about how to actually build it. This doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to become a chef or spend an hour cooking. You just need a few core templates you can rotate. Here's how to think about it. Your breakfast should check 3 boxes. At least 30 grams of protein, a good source of fiber, a clear signal of metabolic stability, something that grounds your blood sugar, mood, and energy. Let's start with the simplest option, the shake. This is the go-to for people who aren't hungry in the morning or don't have time to cook. 30 grams of protein powder. Choose one with complete amino acid profile, like whey isolate, beef isolate, or a well-formulated plant blend can also work. 1 to 2 tablespoons of fiber. Chia seeds, ground flax, psyllium husk, or a scoop of a functional fiber blend. Add BIOMEnd. This is where you amplify the gut, brain, liver signal. Butyrate is one of the most powerful short-chain fatty acids for metabolic recalibration, and BIOMEnd delivers it without the taste issues most people associate with butyrate. Optional extras: cacao powder, frozen berries, cinnamon, greens, or even a scoop of nut butter if you need extra calories. Blend it up, drink it slowly. Let your body adjust to receiving nourishment early in the day. Now let's talk about a whole food breakfast option. One example could be eggs plus sauteed veggies, and avocado. This would be 3 whole eggs plus 3 egg whites for 30 grams of protein, a handful of spinach, peppers, and onions, a quarter to a half of avocado for fat and fiber. Sprinkle some chia or flax on top for an extra fiber bump. This is a high-protein, high-fiber plate that supports dopamine, satiety, and stable glucose. Example 2, a Greek yogurt bowl. 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt. This is approximately 20 grams of protein. 1 scoop of collagen or whey to reach 30 grams of total protein. A handful of berries. 1 tablespoon of chia or flaxseed. Sprinkle of cinnamon or crushed walnuts. This is a great cold breakfast that still hits the key signals. Example 3, savory protein oats. Half a cup of steel-cut oats for slow carbs and more fiber. 1 cup of unflavored protein powder or stir in liquid egg whites while cooking. Top with sauteed greens or mushrooms, a pinch of salt, and olive oil or tahini drizzle. This works well for people who like oatmeal but want to stabilize it. If you're someone who likes variety, you can rotate through these templates each week. And if you're a creature of habit, that's fine too. Metabolic consistency matters more than novelty. The key is this: you're not just eating to stop being hungry, you're eating to stabilize the compass of your biology, your blood sugar, your energy, your mood, and your hunger signals for the rest of the day. This is how you stop the crash cycle. This is how you start rewiring your metabolic rhythm. Coming up next, we'll talk about how the timing of breakfast and caffeine can either support or sabotage this entire effort. When you eat, your protein matters just as much as what you eat. If you made it this far, you now know the what of a compass-calibrated breakfast. But here's where we really set this episode apart, by talking about timing. Because when you eat matters just as much as what you eat, especially when it comes to your first dose of protein and your morning caffeine. Most people wake up and start their day with coffee. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's with cream and sugar, but either way, it's coffee first. Food comes later, if at all. This is so common that it seems harmless. But if you struggle with energy crashes, mood swings, anxious jitters, or that 3 p.m. brain fog, this could be the piece you've been missing. Let's unpack why. Cortisol naturally peaks in the early morning. It's your body's way of giving you energy to get up, be alert, and handle the demands of the day. This rhythm is called the cortisol awakening response, and it's a healthy thing. But when you introduce caffeine before you've eaten anything, especially before protein, you artificially spike cortisol even further. You can overshoot the natural peak and trigger a stress response that doesn't match your actual environment. This matters because high cortisol suppresses appetite temporarily, but often leads to rebound hunger later. That means you might not feel hungry at first, but a few hours later, you're suddenly ravenous and reaching for whatever's convenient. When you start your day with protein first, you stabilize cortisol. You also trigger the release of gut hormones like GLP-1 and peptide YY, which tell your brain you're satisfied and safe. You provide the amino acids needed to begin dopamine and serotonin production, the neurotransmitters that support motivation, calm, and stable mood. This early protein intake also helps prime your insulin response for the rest of the day. It improves your glycemic control for every meal that follows, something called the second meal effect. And when you wait 60 to 90 minutes after waking to have caffeine, after you've already eaten protein, you avoid the cortisol spike and experience a smoother, more focused kind of energy. Many people report that this one shift, protein first, coffee second, reduces their anxiety, improves their mood, and even helps them sleep better at night. Why? Because your morning cortisol sets the tone for your evening melatonin. If you exercise first thing in the morning and do so in a fasted state, you may be wondering how this applies to you. Here's the nuance. If your training is low intensity, like walking, mobility work, or light weights, fasted movement can be fine. But if you're doing intense strength workouts, cardio, or anything glycolytic, you're spiking cortisol and burning through glycogen without any fuel on board. In those cases, a small pre-workout shake, with 15 to 20 grams of protein and 10 to 15 grams of carbs can be a game changer. Even just a few sips of a protein shake with fiber can blunt the cortisol spike and support better recovery. Then, after training, you can follow it up with a full compass-calibrated breakfast. That's your anchor meal, and it matters. So let's recap. Here's the sequence you want to build your morning around. Wake up. Get light exposure, especially natural sunlight, if possible. Hydrate. Waters, minerals, other electrolytes. Eat protein and fiber, a shake or solid food. Then, have your caffeine. This approach gives your biology a stable foundation. It reinforces your circadian rhythm. It improves blood sugar control, and it gives you calm, focused type of energy that lasts without the crash. You don't have to be perfect. But if you're someone who's felt stuck in the cycle of fatigue, cravings, or poor focus by mid-morning, this one shift can be transformative. It's not about cutting out caffeine. It's about supporting your body before you stimulate it. In our final segment, I'll tie everything together and give you a simple way to build a morning routine that aligns with your biology, not against it. Because when you stop crashing, you start thinking clearly. And when your energy is stable, everything else gets easier. Let's bring everything we've covered into a simple, actionable strategy you can start using tomorrow morning. You now know that skipping breakfast or starting your day with just coffee and carbs sets your biology up for crash. You've also learned that protein and fiber are the two most powerful levers you can pull to anchor your metabolic rhythm. But it's not just about what you eat or even when you eat it. It's the sequence. Your biology thrives on predictable patterns. It responds to signals. And your first signals of the day, light, food, movement, and caffeine, either reinforce resilience or erode it. Here's your morning compass sequence, the recalibration pattern you can start practicing right now. Wake naturally if possible. Don't slam the snooze button 5 times. Try to create a gentle wake-up environment with early light and minimal phone use. Get natural light in your eyes. Step outside within 30 minutes of waking. No sunglasses, no window glass. This light cues your circadian rhythm, increases cortisol appropriately, and helps regulate melatonin for better sleep that night. Hydrate before anything else. A glass of water with minerals, sea salt, or even lemon is a simple way to signal safety to your nervous system. Eat a compass-calibrated breakfast. Hit your 30 grams of protein, add fiber, and if you're in a rush or don't feel hungry, use a shake. That shake can include protein powder, chia or flaxseed, an optional frozen fruit or greens, a scoop of BIOMEnd to support your gut-liver axis and mood regulation. Then, and only then, have your caffeine. Ideally, wait 60 to 90 minutes after waking. Let your body stabilize before you stimulate it. If you do this for just 3 to 5 mornings in a row, you'll likely notice fewer cravings, more stable energy, less anxiety or overwhelm, and better focus in the early afternoon. This doesn't have to be perfect. You're not trying to earn gold stars. You're just learning to read your compass and recalibrate when needed. Because that's the bigger message here. Your body is speaking to you. Fatigue, cravings, poor focus, mood swings. These aren't character flaws or a lack of willpower. They're signals. And the way you respond to those signals, especially in the first hour of your day, can either amplify the dysfunction or reorient you towards stability. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to pick your first step. And this is a powerful one. So here's the bottom line. Your biology isn't just responding to what you eat. It's responding to the order of operations. Protein and fiber are the most powerful signals you can send first thing in the morning, especially when they come before your caffeine. This simple shift recalibrates your energy, flattens the crash cycle, and tells your body we're safe, we're steady, we're ready. But if your mornings still feel scrambled, if your cravings, fatigue, or fog don't improve, there's a deeper drift that needs to be addressed. That's where the Metabolic Compass Drift Quiz comes in. It's not a gimmick. It's a clinical grade framework to figure out which domain of your biology, nurture, energize, strengthen, or withdraw, is most out of alignment. You'll not only discover where you're drifting, but you'll also get a free 2-week reset protocol at the end of the email series tailored to your drift pattern. So you don't have to guess where to begin. You'll know exactly what to focus on. Start there. It's the first real step towards lasting metabolic stability. Go to themetaboliccompass.com/quiz and take it now. In episode 19, we're diving into a misunderstood issue that's behind a lot of wired but tired symptoms: mystery inflammation, food reactions, and skin flares. When the alarm won't turn off, histamine intolerance, and the metabolic compass. If your system feels reactive, revved up, or always on edge, this one's for you. See you next time. You've been listening to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we bridge cutting-edge science with real-life application to help you reclaim your health one directional shift at a time. To learn more, visit us at www.themetaboliccompass.com or follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Metabolic Compass. And if you haven't already, leave a review. It helps others find their way back to alignment too. Recalibrate your biology, rediscover your direction.